everyone. So we're showing you a new tool today called Perusall. It's not really a new tool. It's just a new tool for City showing faculty. So Laura Smith has talked about Perusall before. Emily Rush has talked about Perusall before. I think Daniel has talked about it before. And finally, I think I was like, we really need to be looking into this tool for an alternative to discussion boards because we kind of all get a little bit bored with using online discussion boards, and having alternatives is kind of interesting and kind of fun. And this is a really amazing tool that you can use. It's built right into Canvas, and it's a social annotation tool. And it's in Canvas right now. Daniel put it in there. It says it's called Perusall 1.3. You can even find it in your Canvas courses right now. If you go into your settings and go into navigation, you can find it in there. But what it is it allows you to utilize any text-based document, or if you happen to have a textbook that is in the Perusall database, a video, there's websites. You can do podcasts, but I haven't been able to figure that one out yet. So I'm not going to teach you about that because I just haven't been able to just perfect that. Now, Daniel and I are hosting this session together today, and we're going to qualify this by saying we are not experts at Perusall, not even close. So we're going to show you the basics of how to use Perusall in your class, how to find it in Canvas, how to create assignments, how to put those assignments into your modules, what it looks like, because we have some fake students here who are going to show you what that looks like to have students interacting, and then kind of what it looks like on the back end in terms of grading, because Perusall will grade it for you. You don't even have to grade the assignments. How cool is that? Like, that's one of the coolest things ever. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have Daniel share his screen, and we're going to show you the first challenging part of Perusall is locating it for the first time and setting it up for the first time in your class, because there's a lot of steps and some confusing parts to that. So take it, Daniel.
Okay, excellent. So what I want to do is just show you how to get Perusall into your course. And you all probably know how to do this, and Angela just mentioned it. But to get it into your course, you'll just simply go to Settings and up to Navigation. And come on down and find Perusall in that list of disabled apps. And we'll go ahead and select Enable. You could drag and drop it as well. It's going to show up in that list. And again, just a reminder, if you want Perusall to appear further up in the navigation column, you can just drag and drop, and it'll show up higher up there. Just to make my life easier, I'm going to put it right at the very top. And then finally, just save it. All right, and there it appears. Now, part of why I'm putting this into a fresh course is I want you to be able to see what it looks like the first time you use Perusall at all. There's going to be some messages that pop up that is sort of a one-time thing, but I want to be sure we have a chance to see that. So click on Perusall there. And this is a user who hasn't used Perusall before, so it's giving the good old Terms of Service EULA agreement, privacy policy, and submit. When you click the Get Started button, you're going to get these 6 steps in front of you. It really speeds up the process of getting your course set up. And you can see here these are checked off. If this was a brand spanking new course, these would actually be sort of grayed out until you'd gone to each step. But in any case, So step one, you'll come here and you'll have two options. Start with an empty course or copy an existing course. Starting with an empty course is essentially what we have now. And if you go to copy an existing course, you'll be prompted to actually locate previous Perusall courses that you've used. And you can go ahead and copy those settings and content into this particular course. So it really saves you a lot of time if you've already put the effort in previously to set up a similar or maybe the very same course in previous terms. Okay, go ahead and hit continue, which will take you over to the start assignment section. This is another piece of convenience, I think, especially if you or your students are new with Perusall. And one of them is to actually create a syllabus review assignment, and that really entails uploading a copy of your syllabus to the Perusall course here, which with Simple Syllabus, it's easiest going ahead and just downloading the PDF of your syllabus there, uploading it here, at which point when that syllabus is present inside of Perusall, the create a syllabus review assignment will become an active option. Right now, as you can see, it's grayed out. If you don't want to go to the trouble or you prefer to try something else, the Create a Getting Started assignment is available as well, which I'd actually highly recommend because this is essentially kind of an off-the-shelf canned assignment that's from Perusall. We've got 3 topic areas here available for you, and the intention of it is really to provide your students with means of being able to really experience the various features within Perusall. So I'd highly recommend that if your students are new to Perusall. It's a great way to really get them up to speed. All right, so both of these are optional. So if you want to do neither, let's just go ahead and we'll continue on to option 3. And this is where you can actually start selecting published content, to say ebooks and so forth from publishers, and bring those into your course library as well. Some of these are free, most of them are a cost. But if you have adopted a course, adopted a text, you can see there are over 1 million in their available library for your course. This can be your course text. And one of the benefits of it, I would say, is that it does make it fairly easy to identify specific portions of a text that you want your students to be looking at and incorporate that into the when you're building the assignment, being able to highlight those items. But certainly, Angela will be talking more about that in a bit. All right, so the next thing we'll go to is student cost. And this is an important one, especially we're sort of just coming out of the gate. There is a premium version, premium license available for Perusall. We've yet not adopted that yet, but Perusall is certainly available for free. It just entails that when you are setting up your course, you want to go here and select the $0 option for your students, so they're not being prompted to contribute money or pay for their account. And then if you do that, then you want to come down here. In all likelihood, there are some options for what you can do if you select $0, but you can also just select none of these options. Makes sense for me right now, and Perusall will be great. Continue on. All right, so let's go ahead and continue again and go to basic settings. And I'm just going to touch on this really quickly because I'm going to talk about it a little more in a moment. But the basic settings, by default, the department will not be selected. So you'll want to select the department from there. You can always change it elsewhere once you've made that choice. And this is by no means required to select what the department is. But anyway, you can see there's quite an extensive list available of possible departments. The start and end date is actually already populated inside of this. It's based on your Canvas course settings. And again, I'll be talking momentarily about these other settings for scoring and analytics and so forth. And we'll be talking about that a bit more as well in this. So basic settings are there. If I hit continue now, it's simply going to go to the ready to go and some final words for you as far as guidance on depending on what kind of platform you're using, Canvas in this case. Just a few things for you to see, but really at this point, the course is set up. So what I want to do now is go ahead and talk to you a bit about settings. And again, the first time we've gone through setting, it's going to go through different components and tell us what those are. But I want to point out to you, though, I'm going to go ahead and end this tour because is some information here is auto-populated. Almost all of it is, particularly the start and end date of the course is in there. And for department, you will have to pop that in there as well. It's not tying into anything at Rush, as far as I can tell, but I'm going to go ahead and put education here. And there we go. The other component is scoring and analytics. There's an automatic grading and engagement analytics, which is the default setting that they have, and we may talk a bit more about that a little further along. And availability allows students to see each assignment as soon as it's been created. And comments language English. But this is the part here, it might be most useful for you, at least initially with your students. It's the welcome message that your students get. This is off the shelf from Perusall, and you can make some changes to that if you'd like. But you can also have some examples here of modifications you can take to some of the bullet items you like to have here as well. And this is, students aren't really enrolling in it because we're in the LMS already. They're going to be automatically enrolled in the course, so they don't need to do any setup per se on their side. And this is a test or demonstration course. No, you don't need to worry about that. All right. So we'll save those changes. All right. And really the only change we made in this case was the education setting. What I think I want to jump down to is, we'll go to scoring and release scores to students only after instructor has manually released them in the gradebook. That's one way to do it. You can also have the scoring appear in your gradebook as soon as the actual deadline for the assignment has passed. So there's no need for you to, for example, release the grades into Canvas. Which is another thing to point out is that by default what will happen is that as you create assignments within Perusall, those assignments are going to appear within your Canvas course and in the gradebook as well, ready for the grades to be populated in there depending on how you want that to happen. All right. And this is basically just saying it here. And you want to leave these default settings. That's what I would suggest. Automatically sync individual assignment scores back to the LMS. There's an option for doing average scores and so forth, but at least in your first time out, I'd suggest sticking with the automatic option. And automatic scoring, here we go here, and rubrics. If you want to create a new rubric for an assignment, you can certainly do that as well.
But they have a pretty good rubric already, and you'll see that. Like it's pretty decent.
For sure. All right. So coming down here on this column on the left here, student view gives you an opportunity to actually see what your students are seeing when they come into the Perusall. And it says, okay, here. And it's essentially the same as what you would see. Now, right now, it's creating a sample student. There we go. So at this moment, there are no assignments in the course, so they're not seeing anything along those lines. So go there. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump over to a course that actually already has some content in it. Okay. There we go. Of course, it already has some content in it, so you can see a little more. So for example, I mentioned earlier, students are automatically added into the course. So these are students who are in a sample course. They're in there already. If I hit student view, you'd see that view. I'm not going to bother with that at the moment. There is a notifications option here. And what'll happen is that if anybody has flagged a post, so maybe something inappropriate has been placed in, as an example, if it's flagged, you'll get a notification. Like a lot of other apps, you'll see a notification up here as well, a little indication that you've got something, but you'll also be able to just hit notifications and see that list of any notes and notifications that you've received. Coming down here really quickly, the library, in this case, there's a single item that's been added to the library, and Angela's going to be talking to you about adding items to the library. And then finally, assignments as well. There's only one assignment created using one of the library items. but you can see from here is where you can start getting in and setting up some parameters around that assignment. So, but what I want to do now is hand back over to Angela. She's going to start talking about how to get in and really start working with the application.
Okay,
All right,
so
I'm going to let you go.
this is a course, and I have Perusall installed right here. So what
Okay,
I'm going to do is
you have
click
to share, Angela.
on
Oh, you're sharing already.
and
Thank you.
share. Yep. And I already have content added here into my library, but let's pretend like I don't. All right. And up here in my library, yours will be completely blank. And here are some options. Now, Perusall has a massive, massive catalog. Now, if we were to subscribe to Perusall, students can purchase their books through their catalog. Now, what that would allow, okay, that would allow you to assign chapters through Perusall. That's pretty cool because then the students can read and annotate together. And that would make for a really rich reading experience for the students. It would be extremely interactive and pretty neat. But at this time, we don't have that. And so you can use, if you use articles or other types of documents or web pages or even videos, you can do that with Perusall currently. So I'm going to add a document, and it's as simple as uploading a document from wherever you have it. So I'm going to click upload from my device. I have an article about micro learning through TikTok that I found, so I'm going to throw it into my library. So if it's a long article, it'll take longer to upload. If you can see this here, I have a video that I put in here and a couple of other reading materials. So whatever you have put in your library, you can create assignments based upon those items. Okay. So let's go to assignments. So right now I have two assignments. This one is a default assignment that Perusall gives to you for your students. And it's a 6-part assignment, and it helps your students learn with Perusall. So it's basically an introductory assignment of getting used to this tool. For students, though, I don't think it's too difficult. And you can ask Bronca. Bronca, was this the first time you ever used this tool?
Sorry, I was looking for the mute button. No, I had used it a while back. It's been a
Okay,
while though, but I mean, just going back in as a student, it wasn't hard to use it all.
okay. Yeah, Peg was the first time Peg ever used it, and she didn't find it difficult. I don't think she even had to go through this assignment, but you can assign this to your students. You can see each assignment has a lot of options available. One of the coolest things with Perusall is this thing called the confusion report. And how this comes to pass, or how this happens, is when students have questions about what they're reading. Perusall's, it's probably AI. I don't know for sure, but its system creates a report based upon the types of questions that the students have and gives you a report about what it thinks students find the most confusing about that particular assignment. So there needs to be enough questions. I don't remember if it's 6 or 10. I can't remember. It's one of those numbers. Questions about that particular reading to be able to make that report happen. But that is pretty powerful, if you ask me. So let's go into, so let's create an assignment. So how we create an assignment is plus assignment right here. And you can see there's a whole lot of different types of assignments. You can find out about all of these assignments 2 different ways. One is by support.perusall.com. They have a whole section on help right here. You can also go to YouTube, and Perusall has its own channel. And here's one: how to create a fishbowl assignment, how to create a peer review assignment. All of that stuff is here for you if you really want to dig deep and learn more about Perusall. Uh-oh, did I just... Give me just a second. I think I might have.
Did you
Nope.
close the?
I did not.
Okay.
I did. Yes, I think I did. No, I didn't. Whew. All right. So we're going to create a standard assignment. And we're going to call it TikTok. And we're going to give it a deadline of May 23rd. I think there's something like end of day you can pick in settings. Okay, I'll click next step. The content to assign is a dropdown, and this is what's in your library. If you have books, it'll break down your books into different chapters, so you can pick particular chapters or sections of your books. Instructions for students. I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to let the students see it now. And then the scoring. So in terms of the scoring, there's a lot of different things. Okay. I like my scoring to be out of 10 points. And so I created a custom scoring for my first assignment for the article review. And so I'm going to keep that and reuse that so that my score range is 0 to 10. And the threshold for credit, they have to get at least 5 points to be able to get credit. You can save this however you want. Now, here is the rubric that Perusall creates automatically. Okay. So you can adjust this rubric to fit whatever you want it to be. Or if you like it, you can just leave it. I'm going to click OK. No content is selected. Uh-oh, what did I do wrong?
Oh, did we actually have a material? I think you demonstrated a book, but maybe we need to actually select a document.
Entire documents. Assign all the content. Next step, next step. Okay. I'm not really sure exactly what I did wrong there, but all right. So that assignment is done. So guess what happened? Perusall created the assignment in my course. So if I go to assignments in Canvas, it's already there. TikTok. So I go to my modules and I'm going to add the TikTok assignment wherever I want to add it. I'm just going to put it up here for ease of use. I'm going to put it right there. And there's the TikTok assignment. So Perusall adds the gradebook column and the assignment automatically, and it will automatically grade it for you. Let me check and see if there's any questions.
I just have to drop off in a minute or two because I have a student.
All right, let me jump in because I think you're our only person here. Are you our only faculty
Jennifer?
here?
Jennifer Rousseau's here.
Yep,
Oh, Jennifer's here. Okay.
I have to jump off as well though, but I have 1 more minute.
Okay, so let me show you what it looks like. So as a faculty member, I'm here as a faculty member. So right now, Laura's here. I can see her picture. So she's here active. I'm here active. Branca should be here in a minute active. So her picture will show up. So as a faculty member, there's different things I can see here. If I click right here on this third thing, I can see all the conversations that are happening. So here, if I go like this, I can see who said that. That's Beverly Test said that. If I click on it, it opens up to the whole conversation.
And pardon my ignorance, but is you saying this is asynchronous?
Yeah.
And you can just go in then and see what people said, even
Yep.
though, oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Would it be possible to do another one of these webinar things, instructional for Perusall later on, maybe even a half hour, just to kind of revisit? Because I actually pulled it up on my Canvas and put it into one of my development courses. So I think it'd be kind of fun to have you walk us through how to use it.
Yeah. I mean, essentially all the students do is highlight and make a comment. That's it. If you want to, they can talk. They can dictate their comment. They can put in audio comments. They can add GIFs.
You can upload an article if you want. It doesn't have to be, or does it have to be something from their list, or it can be something from.
They can insert a link here if they want to share something. They can insert a GIF. So do you see how like it's really social, but the students are engaging with the text.
Yes. Okay.
It's awesome. It's so awesome.
And as an instructor, you can see, what was the conversation around a given passage,
Right.
So you can filter that way, which is kind of nice.
You can filter by all kinds of things. Like, you can see these are the conversations between Laura and Branca.
Well, I think it looks really slick, and I'd love to play with it and maybe have one of you guys just walk me through. I'm going to drop off because I can see it popping up on my screen that she's in the meeting waiting for me. But Thank you very much. This was really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll see you a little later.
All right. We're going to finish recording for those people who are going to be watching this recording.